All right, I'm going to try this again. Take two on answering Caleb's question on pricing tips on how to maximize gross and turn cars proficient. So keep them at a turn rate that's proficient. I'm going to kind of just start all over from scratch because I deleted the previous post. Brandon, thanks for joining. I deleted the last one. I'm going to start all over here. So to answer Caleb's question on how to pricing tips to maximize gross while turning fast. So that's the thing. You can have gross and volume. The kicker is, and I'm going to talk about the first 30 that we promote a lot, is turn your inventory, get 60 to 70% of your sales in the first 30 days. That's how you get gross. But then how to do pricing strategies to be able to protect profit margins. And I know, Caleb, you're going to be in a little bit different scenario, but a lot of these people on here will not be, are in your same shoes as you're probably purchasing a lot of your vehicles. So this makes it even tougher. But one of the things I did is I included a testimony in my question post, not this one, about from our dealers just to back up and confirm that these strategies do work, because they're going to seem extreme for you. But if you just trust me, put the blinders on and kind of go through this, because we've had independent dealers, that have 30, 40, 50 cars that'll sell 30, 40, 50 plus cars. So they carry what they sell what they carry, and make gross too. So this is what those strategies are, but it also depends on where you're advertising on these sites. Caleb, I talked about before, I went to your website and seen how you're pricing cars. And the first thing I will tell you and anybody on here is get to flat pricing. Pricing a car at $19,995 doesn't work as efficiently anymore. It works psychologically if they hear or see your radio or your ad, your radio, print, TV, see it on your website or on your on your website or on your windshield. If they see $19,995, that works. But what they're doing, what that is, it's called psychological pricing. We do $19,995 to get people to mentally round down. Well, people don't look at print, radio, TV anymore. They're going to the website. Now, again, $19,995 still works if they see your ad. That's the trick. If they go in there and say, hey, I want a sedan between 20 to 25 grand, or a pickup truck between 35 and 40 grand. Well, if you're at 34,995, you're not going to show up in that 35 to 40 grand search. So at 34,995, you're missing that search for $5. Price the car at 35 grand even, and then you show up to the 35 and higher shopper, the 35 and less shopper. What about that guy that says, hey, I want a truck, I don't want to spend more than 35 grand? You will show up at the top, even though 34,995 shows up too. So it's a win-win either way, but you get to maximize. And a lot of times those cars perform better for the 35 and higher shopper than the 35 and lower shopper. So get on flat pricing one. And what I mean by that too is do about $500 increments. If you're at 29,495, don't be at 24,495, be at 24,500. Did I get all those numbers messed up? Don't be at 29,495, be at 29,500. Then go to 29, and then go to 28,500, and then go to 28. So part of the strategy too is making bigger price changes. One of the biggest mistakes I've seen over the years is somebody doing too many price changes and doing minimal price changes. Like they'll go in there and they'll be at 39,995 and then drop it to 39,872 and then drop it to 39,637, and all these arbitrary numbers, or maybe they're doing a percentage of market and doing those small increment price changes every 7 days does not impact the market. Meaning the market probably moves anywhere from $100 to $500 every week. So if the market moved 200 and you drop 200, even though you're getting more aggressive, you're pretty much even with the market. You never got more aggressive to the market. You just dropped your price compared to where you were. So a couple $100 price adjustments pretty much just keep you up with the market, never really get you ahead of the game. So and then two, it doesn't put a sense of urgency underneath the customer's butt. If you're at 34,995 again, and you drop it to 34,872, they're not going to jump off their couch and go, ooh, I better get in there. They dropped it $100 or so bucks, right? And so again, you're just barely moving with the market, and you're not really enticing or getting anybody excited about that car as they may be sitting there and watching. Customers will watch cars. You'll have a car and you price it and you move the price, and all of a sudden they call or email and they pop and they say, hey, I've been watching your car for the last couple of weeks, and maybe you're at the point or price that I can deal with now. So the thing about flat pricing depends on where you're advertising your cars. So there's sites like cars.com, Car Gurus, TrueCar, AutoTrader, these sites, and even your own website. And Caleb, you have this where the customers can shop 25 or less, or 25 and higher. And if you had a car at 25 grand, I think those cars should show up in both those searches. So your own site will help you do that. The first thing I'd say is a site like, on my first videos are on cars.com. The way they do it, when people are searching by price, they do 2,000 increments, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then 5 grand increments, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay. So 8 grand, 10 grand work well on cars.com. Well, then Car Gurus does $1,000 increments up to 10, and then 2 grand. So 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, up to 30, and then 5 grand increments, 30, 35, 40. AutoTrader allows customers to type in whatever they want. TrueCar has a little bar thing that they can move back and forth, and they're by $1,000 increments. Okay. So once you understand all this, let me give you a strategy. Let's say you go into the auto and you say, or whatever inventory management tool you have, Max Digital or what have you, and you say, okay, I want to be 100% of the market. And it spits out 26,372. Well, I would do, if I was you, I'd round it up to 26.5. And I'll tell you that in a minute. If it's a day one car, that's what I call priming the car. But 26 is that ultimate bucket that I know I want to get to soon, because 26 grand is a bucket on Car Gurus, because remember they do 2 grand buckets, 20, 24, 20, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28. So 26 works on Car Gurus. People can pick that selection. Also AutoTrader, customers can type in what they want, and 26 might fall in the top 20. If it doesn't, it's in the top 25 or 30 price searches that customers are looking for on that site. Okay, so I would put a percentage of market where you want to be. Once your system kicks out that number, round it up or down from there. Okay, so 26 is really what I want to be at, because I know that gets a lot of activity, at least on Car Gurus. But here's the problem. If you do that 26 grand price day one and you don't have any photos yet, or no descriptions, or very well advertised, you're going to get a lot of searches. And let's say it takes you 7 to 10 days to finally get the photos and it out of service. Well, all that people on Car Gurus that was looking at 26 grand seen your car but didn't click on it. And by this time now, it's 7 to 10 days down the road, you might want to make an adjustment on the car. And so you move the price, and now you're at, like, let's say 25.5. Well, all that activity at 26 grand is gone. So what I would do, what I was talking about, is what I say prime a car. 26 is a bucket. Okay, I would go to 26.5 day one. Now what this does is what I call the trifecta. It's priming the car. 26.5 is not a good bucket, but at least your car's out there in the market, and it might be around, let's say, 101, 102%. But the reason why I'm at 26.5 is I'm letting my turnaround time happen, my photos, my descriptions, and everything. Let's just say the car is now photoed ready for sale, and it's 8 days old. Now I'm going to take that car, now that the photos are done, and go from 26.5 to 26. And what I mean by trifecta, I've just got 3 things going for me. 1, I just hit that 26 grand bucket. 2, with photos and good content now. And 3, when I dropped at $500, it makes a bigger impact in the market. Maybe I went from a fair deal to a good deal. Or on cars.com's case, if somebody's watching that car or saving it, or if you want it to say reduced on their site, you got to do at least a $500 price adjustments. Okay, so these small price adjustments don't do those things. And what I call by priming a car, if you know out the gate you want to be at 90 or 100% of market, or 105, and that's 25 grand, I might day one go to 25.5 to prime it, because I don't want to waste all that 25 grand activity. That's a huge market on AutoTrader, and it's huge on cars.com and on TrueCar. 25 grand is very popular, and I don't want to be at 25 grand with no photos. And then 2 weeks go by and all that activity goes away because I dropped it to 24.5 and no one's looked. Now that my photos are there, I'm missing all that eyeballs that I would have had at 25 grand, if that makes sense. Okay, so what I call priming a car, 25.5. Photos are done, I'm dropping at 500, I'm gonna hit the 25 grand bucket. Now all of a sudden your activities go up, it says reduced, you hit that what I call trifecta. The marketing's there, hitting a bucket, and it says reduced, and now the car's getting a ton of activity. But now you're at 100% of market, which is fine. Again, we're at, let's say, day 8, you're 100% of market hitting this 25 grand bucket. You're getting a lot of SRPs, a lot of VDPs. You might not get a lot of calls or emails because you're still at market average. They're finding better deals, and that's fine. What we're doing is what I call marinating. We're soaking in all these SRPs. Now, I realize, then I know because how these sites work, 24 grand is a popular number on, again, Car Gurus. So I'm going to be at 25 after a couple weeks, or actually I started 25.5. Day 8 hits, photos are there, I'm at 25. Boom, the activity starts picking up. Sit there for a week or two, depending on what the market's doing. Then if the market is pretty safe and this car's a good car, I'll go 2 weeks. So now we're running into, I guess, day 21. I'm going to drop it $500, which I go from 100% of market probably to like 96% of the market. 3 weeks old, I'm hitting the 24.5 bucket. Now, all I did there, it's not hitting a major bucket, but I did a $500 price drop. So all these people that seen it at 25 grand, if they liked it then, they might really like it now. They're going to get excited and probably get off their butt and come in the door. And so that's where the phone calls start hitting. If not, I'm going to sit it there for a week, maybe 2, but more like a week, because now I'm running from 21 days to 20, almost 30, and I'm going to drop it to 24 grand. And again, I get another reduction, and 24 grand works on these like sites like, again, Car Gurus. So my activity goes back up. What's up, Bob White? How you doing, sir? Love you a lot, man. Congratulations on that. I know you've been doing it for a while. And so, hey, Adam, what's going on, sir? So what you're doing is you're setting yourself up to work through these pricing buckets of where you have your cars advertised. And let's say, for example, 22 grand, you might think is a really weird price, but that's so popular. If you go to Google, say payment calculator, and do a $400 payment, it's going to spit out a number right around 22 grand. Okay, because that's about a 3 or 4% interest rate. 22 grand is going to be a $400 payment. A lot of $400 payment buyers out there. So 22 grand's a popular search bucket. People can type 22 grand into Auto Trader. It doesn't work on cars.com because they go 20 and 25 grand in their buckets, but Car Gurus has a 20, a 22, 24, 26, 28 bucket. So 22 works on Car Gurus. So right now at 22 grand, I've got a ton of activity on Car Gurus. I get activity on Auto Trader because it's a $400 shopper, and I could type in 22 grand. I'm going to let it sit there for a week or two, and then boom, I'm going to drop it 500 to 25.15. It says reduced on cars.com, not hitting a bucket, but at least says reduced. And then anybody seen it at 22 grand, now it's at 21.5. Hopefully they bite, depending on where I'm at percentage of the market. So I'm not going to do, Caleb, to go over this, to answer your question, I'm not going to do small price change. I'm not going to do 100 here, 200 there. All you're doing is moving with the market. You're not getting more aggressive, because you can maybe look at a history of a car and you're like, man, I've been dropping this price every week. It won't sell. You drop in 100, 150 bucks. Well, the market is moving 100, 150. So you're 100% of the market. 2 weeks later, drop at 100 or 2, back to 100% of market, drop at 100 or 2, back to 100% of market. And you're like, man, I had $1,000 deal. Now I'm breaking even, 45 days later, and you're still at 100% of market. And that's why you got to get more aggressive sooner. That's why you got to make bigger price change adjustments and make a bigger impact. Get the customer more excited. Get reduction. Okay, if anybody finds this information helpful, I won't drag this out much longer. I've done a whole workshop about this, comments and descriptions and pricing and how this all works. Hopefully I explained this. If you want a free inventory evaluation, lotpop.com. If you want free wristbands here, again, it says first 30. What that means is sell 60 to 70% of your sales in the first 30 days. If you do that, you'll get gross and you get volume. But the key is you got to have 60 to 70% of your inventory in the first 30 days. So you can't have an aging problem. These little wristband, anybody managing inventory, keep everybody on task. It's a daily reminder as they look down to worry about that first 30. Where are we at in photos? Where are we at in description? How many cars we have? What's the age cars? What do we sell in the first 30 days? What's our turnaround time? All that, it's a trickle down effect. So anybody want these wristbands, I send them out for free. Adam, you got tons of them. So let me know, just message me. And again, if you want a free evaluation or go into anything, just message me, direct message through Facebook here. Thanks.